Peace and black power, peace and black power, peace and black power. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, King Kong Consciousness, Intercontinental Ifa Tunde, coming to you live and direct from the most anticipated independent African school in American history, the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. Today is the 56th memorial of the assassination of one of the greatest Pan-Africanists of all time, a child of the Garvey movement whose parents served under the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, and I'm speaking of none other than El Hajj, Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X. 2/21/21, 56 years later. I want to send condolences, love, respect, support to the family of El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. When I think of Malcolm X, I think of so many different things. His life, his example, his work is so symbolic of so many different issues and causes and interests and experiences that black people have. When you deal with Malcolm X, you deal with transformation. When you deal with Malcolm X, you deal with family trauma. When you deal with Malcolm X, you deal with betrayal. When you deal with Malcolm X, you deal with evolution from religious nationalism to Pan-African nationalism, or should we say from Pan-Africanism to religious nationalism back to Pan-Africanism. When you deal with Malcolm X, you deal with sincere leadership, incorruptibility, humility, dedication to the black woman, dedication to the black family, fatherhood. Malcolm X, you could teach a whole curriculum on Malcolm. And at the FDMG Academy, we will be teaching a whole curriculum on Garvey, who is the predecessor for Malcolm and the predecessor for all black leadership in the modern era. But, you know, Malcolm X it's painful. It's painful to see what the black community allowed to happen to Malcolm. It's painful. Of course, we learned yesterday that there was a deathbed confession by an undercover NYPD or FBI agent who said they were tasked with infiltrating Malcolm's movement, trying to get all the security officers arrested so they wouldn't be there to do security on February 21st inside of the Audubon Ballroom. Well, we already know that. Okay, now we have the name of an officer, but we already knew the government was involved. So I guess for some people, this is good because now they actually have a name of an agent who says, yes, we knew this was going to happen and we wanted to clear the way for it to happen. That does not dismiss the Negro participation in this. The hands that pulled the triggers were black. Okay, so anybody who tries to say that we're just going to put all this on the government and not deal with the black complicity in this can get the hell out of my face. Okay, there is always a Judas involved in the assassination of a great. There is always a Judas involved in the assassination of a great leader. Every great leader has a Judas. I'm probably going to go down in history because I have more Judases. I think I might have the most Judases of all time. I can literally name you about 40 Judases that I have, male and female, young and old. So I'll probably go down in history as having the most Judases of all time. But I'm hoping that I also go down in history as being able to overcome and succeed despite of. But getting back to El Hajj. I wish I could have a conversation with Malcolm, the ancestor. I really wish I could have a conversation with Malcolm the ancestor. There's so many questions that I would like to ask Malcolm. There's so many questions that I would like to ask Malcolm. And I'm not going to tell you what those questions are. I would like to ask Malcolm, whose names was on that list that you were going to read off inside of the Audubon Ballroom? That your assassination prevented you from being able to read. What names were on that list? I want to know what names were on that list. We know that there was 2 chapters of your autobiography that Alex Haley kept out. But was it only 2 chapters, Malcolm, or was it more than 2 chapters, Malcolm? It has been argued that Alex Haley may have been an informant for the U.S. military. Why did he keep those chapters out, Malcolm? Why did Alex Haley do that? You know, Malcolm did not have to come back to America. When Malcolm was in Africa, Maya Angelou and others said, Malcolm, stay in Africa, do your work from Africa. Send for your family, they can all come and join you here in Africa. Malcolm didn't have to come back to America, but because he loved you and I so much. Malcolm didn't have to come back to America, but because Malcolm loved you and I so much. Because Malcolm loved you and I so much, Malcolm came back to America to continue the fight. Reminds me of Frederick Douglass, who didn't have to come back, but came back anyway to continue the fight. Malcolm, he came back knowing his life was at risk because he was too much of a man. He was too much of a man to duck, run, and hide. Too much of a man to do that. A part of me wish he would have stayed in Africa. A part of me wish he would have sent for his family, even if it was only for a few years. If I could talk to Malcolm, I would ask him in retrospect, would you have stayed in Africa, even if only for a few years? But I think the answer would have been no. I think Malcolm would have said, I have a mission and I have to complete it by any means necessary. Malcolm and Dr. King had agreed to disagree. They were going to come together through Coretta Scott King while Dr. King was arrested in Birmingham. She met with Malcolm, and through Coretta Scott King, Queen Mother Coretta, rest in peace, Malcolm and Martin were going to work together. This was about 3 weeks before he was murdered. J. Edgar Hoover got that word. No way can I let Malcolm and Martin work together the way Frederick Douglass and Martin Delany did. I can't let that happen. No, sir. Malcolm had to die to prevent the coalition. Malcolm had to die to prevent the coalition. Malcolm had to die to prevent the coalition with Dr. King. It would have legitimized Malcolm too much. It would have legitimized him too much. I'm going to cut this right now because my contractors are here. So I'm going to cut this right now, brothers and sisters. I'm going to come back and finish this in a few minutes, but let me see what's going on. I'm going to get black at you. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, King Kong Consciousness, Louisville, Kentucky. I will see you Wednesday. I need somebody from Louisville to text me the address to the Breonna Taylor Memorial or painting. I need someone in Louisville, Kentucky to text me the address to the Breonna Taylor Memorial and or painting and gravesite if you know where she's buried. I want to pay my respects at either the memorial or the gravesite when I get to Louisville. So Louisville, the Prince is coming. I will see you all at the Rooftop Grill, 414 Oak Street, Wednesday, February 24th from 2 to 8. Special ed drop-in clinic. The Prince is back. Cincinnati, Ohio, I will see you Thursday, the very next day. Thursday, February 26th. Oakland, California, we need a venue change. I'm just finding that out. So we have to find another location in Oakland. If there's a black-owned barbershop, restaurant, church, business, Oakland, California, Dr. Umar needs a location for the March the 6th book signing. The books are already there. Tickets are already purchased. The show must go on. I want to sign books inside of the original Black Panther Party headquarters. Where is the original Black Panther Party headquarters in Oakland, California? Where is the original Black Panther Party headquarters in Oakland, California? That's where I want to sign the books. New Orleans. Monday, March the 15th. New Orleans, Louisiana. The Prince is back Monday, March the 15th. And I will be speaking. And I will be speaking. And I will be speaking. New Orleans, March 5th. New Orleans, March 15th. Oakland, March the 6th. Cincinnati, February 25. Louisville, February 24. I'm going to get back with y'all to finish this conversation. Got to get the work done at the school. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG School. Hit the Cash App, $FDMG